Hello and welcome to our tutorial. So we're just going to have a very quick look at playing back video in Unity. So I'm going to look at two simple ways to do that. So first of all, I'm going to import some video. So I'm going to import two files, one just to illustrate something. So I'm going to import this piece of video here. It's from a drone, and the important part of this is the type of video it is. So this is a .mp4 and it's a .h.264 codec. Now I was going to import another piece of video, which is a perfectly functioning piece of video. This thing here is called mask 001. Now I'll import that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play that piece of video for you. So this is it here. So it's a perfectly functional, it's there masking. The reason I point that out is that this file is a .avi file, and if we try and use this, we'll run into a few issues. So not all of the codecs that you encounter will work properly. And this is set up to be a PC build. If we want to build things for Android, we have to be even more careful about what's compatible and what's not. So we'll have a look when we're in class at the documentation for Unity and see what is and what isn't compatible. So with no further ado, let's get this to play. So I'm just going to create an empty. So this is one way to, I'm just going to zero it out. And we'll call this, I don't know, vid bg, so video in the background. So I'm going to add a video component. So you can see here it's got its own folder, and we can drag and drop our video in. So I'm going to drag and drop in this video here. I'm going to leave play and awake, and I'm going to click on loop, although I think it's a fairly long piece of video. Now if I press play, there it is, and we don't need to let it play for too long. Now let's have a look at how we would add another piece of video in front of that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go add a 3D object, which is a quad. So here's this quad. Now I'm going to deparent it from that empty, and let's just take the empty here and move it. Let's move it. Actually, in relation to the camera, it's going to be in front of the quad, and we'll take our quad here. And what we'll do is we'll drag and drop the video onto the quad, and you'll see that it automatically added the video player. Now I'm using a quad specifically rather than using a plane because it won't work on a plane. So quads have sort of distinct characteristics that a normal plane would not have. So let's just press play and see what we get. So you can see, even though the empty is situated in front of the quad, it doesn't matter where I position it. So this is effectively playing as a far plane, as a background. However, let's press play again. So let's do that with the background. Let's actually tell it that it's a camera far plane. It's going to ask me what camera we're using. That's our camera. So that's how we should have set it up. And our aspect ratio is fit horizontally, which is fine. So we've built our piece of video. So I'm going to click on the quad now, and while it's playing, I can reposition this. So if you had a terminal or something in your game that needed to have a piece of video play on it, this is what you could do. Okay, now what we may want to do here is we'll so that's got a default material on it. So what we can do is we can change the material on this to make it, you'll see it's slightly, because it's a white background, we can make a darker material and have this quad, the video on the quad be not quite so bright. But that's effectively how we get our video to play. And what we'll be looking at in class, specifically, we'll be looking at what is a codec, and looking at different kind of video wrappers like MOV, MPEG-4, and what the difference between them is. And also we'll be looking at bit rates and the impact that a bit rate can have on the quality of a piece of video. So this is a very short sort of overview of how to get it working. And you can have lots of these guys. Obviously, the more resources you draw upon, or the more of these you have, you're going to have performance issues if you have lots and lots of video playing simultaneously on an Android device. But just to be aware that this is, you can position these. And that they are physical and real, and that you can move around them and in front of them and behind them, etc. So we can use these in our game in a very sort of simple and tangible way. Okay, so that's enough of this for now, and like I said, we'll be kind of in class exploring bit rates and more theoretical information about video and video format.